because it makes me even more sick to even think about it. And I don't like going back to that thought about the players of the Summer Wells case. I don't even like looking at talking about it because it is what it is, because it's evil. It's very sick. It's very evil. I told you, or I not told you, but I told people what I thought, exactly my opinion of the main piece. The only piece left is Summer Wells. So let me ask you a question. The little bit of woods that is behind the house there and outside the house around the area there, you
There's
ever
really
seen
not all the wooded area that's left right there belongs to other neighbors on their
That's
property.
what I mean. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It goes up and around. It's thicketed up and all that. Have you, Candace? You ever seen Candace in there? Anywhere in around there?
In the woods?
Yeah, in the woods. Anything going in the woods? Is she a wood person? I know she's a fishing person,
No,
but is she a wood person?
no.
Okay. You see, she was scared to death of those woods for some reason. I thought she was playing a game on that. I didn't know.
She is not a wood person. She doesn't really. She's
Right.
scared of snakes. She's honestly scared. I think she doesn't know what the shit is. She'd
Exactly.
always call me with what's this snake? What's that? And should I kill this? And what the fuck's this? And the kids were also, except for the boys, I mean, but they were all kind of like, but they did. I mean, they gravitate like children do towards more,
Right,
and
right. Little boys. Yeah, they do. They do. So let me ask
yeah,
you a question. Uh, during this time, I've heard this timeline and this barrel. Remember the barrel, the
the
one
red
where Summer's in the.
barrel came
Uh,
from out of the Parkway and it already had that shit spray painted on it because it
mhm.
was the last one out of a bundle of red barrels that the guys for sale. I can
All right.
show you the fucking house it came from. I know where that barrel came from, but it was the one he had it spray painted on to sell the rest of the fucking barrels. So he had to keep going out there and putting up a damn sign.
So that was
And
just a coincidence that it just said for sale on it, right?
yeah,
Okay, okay. So even if it was a
the
coincidence,
guy selling the barrels is on all of our ways home. Don would have seen it. Plus, we all have barrels and shit. We burn in them. We collect rainwater, put liners in them. We do all kinds of things with them. And when we
right,
lived
right.
in
Okay, okay.
Jodisue,
I know the kind. I know the kind. You get the fresh rainwater out of it. I know. And you get the fresh rainwater out of it. I know you put the liner in it and you drain from that. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Hell, I lived off that shit for a long
plastic
time.
put a liner in it. But yeah, I mean, it was nothing nefarious about the fucking barrel.
Right.
And
Okay.
people,
Okay.
last thing.
So, do you know exactly when that photo was taken?
It was a video of summer dancing.
And it was screenshotted off the video, right?
Well, they have a still picture of it, but I think the video was not taken, but a few days before summer
Whoa,
vanished.
whoa, whoa, whoa. A few days.
I know the
Dudley was over there when the photo was taken. The video. Dudley was there, right?
yeah, there's yellow stairs in the background, I believe.
Okay. 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 That's what I thought.
Prior, a
So,
few days
so it
prior.
did. So it did rain 2 days prior. I think it was 2 days prior because I said something about the rain. Somebody said, "No, it did not rain." Yes, it did rain.
It did too fucking rain down there. It did too, and it helped wash away bear prints and stuff. It absolutely did fucking rain. That's why there was enough water collected on the left side of the creek. It absolutely did fucking rain. Not long, just
Because
like
when it rains, it helps build that creek up that she supposedly went to, right?
dammed and all that stuff too. But
Exactly, exactly.
it was stagnant when I walked through it. There was parts of it that had, even though it risen, it had enough time to settle again, and so all the stagnation did where they dammed it up. It was still stuck in there,
Hmm.
and I was walking through all this. It was stagnant, had the growth on top of it.
So
Pretty
is it
great.
true? Is it true that CPS was supposed to visit 2 days after that Summer went missing, and they knew that prior?
Actually visit the next day or something is what the rumor is, but all I'm going to say is that CPS was already around, already involved because during the land sale stuff, Candace would be messaging me going, is that, this or who the fuck are these people parked down there? I'd message her. I'm like, is that DCS or is this, who the fuck is down here at the bottom? And that's when we figured out the whole land, all this stuff for weeks prior to Summer Vanishing. DCS was already involved for weeks.
Did Don ever make visits to these little hotels? They call them open in-house hotels, and have
I know,
sexual affairs with other victims?
I don't know the term other victims, like, he's maybe
When
responsible.
I say hotel, when I say these open-in hotels, them extended stay hotels, like a lot of child predators and child traffickers like to use.
I just know he go to Knoxville and other places on.
To use.
I just know he go to Knoxville and other places on his benders here and there, and I don't know what kind of hotels he stayed at. I don't know, and other things are just, off bounds. But I mean, I don't know. Hell, and I mean, anything is Don didn't have to do it. Hell, he would. I mean, I don't know. Hell, and I mean, anything is Don didn't have to do it. Hell, he would cheat out in the open anyway,
Well, yeah, I mean,
and do weird shit. Hell, he do it right there at the house with cameras in the fucking house. So,
and the kids also.
hmm
The kids also, right?
yeah,
So that's. Let me ask you a question. Did Summer really ever have a chance?
yeah. And I really, honestly, same thing I told law enforcement, because they asked. And, had it been 2 years prior to this, I would have told you no. Uh, But I really thought things were getting better. But then as it comes into view and everything kind of becomes clear to you, and you stop and think, the changes that were taking place that we were seeing that we thought meant things were getting better. And actually, like I think it's semi-correlated with Grandis being there. Like things were a lot calmer in ways if Grandis was there, I guess. And also, there's all kinds of things there that are just off bounds and topics for me. But uh, there was definitely less of there's definitely less of a whole lot of things when Grandis was present. And so I think Grandis was actually the change, but I wrongly attribute it to Summer getting bigger and wrapping Dawn around her finger because I probably have Dawn wrapped around her little finger, and wherever Dawn was, Summer was. And he very much paid attention to her, doted over her, and she was not happy unless she was Dawn. And it's just.
Let me ask you a question. So,
Guilty. Look into my eyes. Your soul is stained by the blood of the innocent. Feel their pain.
let me ask you a question. So, do you believe that what came out about when Don would take showers with Summer?
Yeah. And because I've said it, and so have others, we all I didn't know about it until right before she vanished. Like I never asked.
No, when you say right before she vanished,
that's why they called you bitch. I betcha.
Vanished is a term that something just vanishes in thin air. That's not the case with Summer Wells, though.
Answers. That's all you can really say. She's gone. Somebody is responsible for it. But she's been taken. Somebody is responsible for this because she didn't walk off into the goddamn woods like Winnie the Pooh. All right, somebody is responsible for this. But until we know who and how,
So
what do you really call it? And
when did you find out? When did you find out that he did take showers?
I mean, like just right before she vanished. But the thing is like, well, you excuse it because they're a little bit more based, they're a little bit more heel type, and you think, well, whatever. But then you're also like, a little old for that, but okay, all these
so in your mind and in your heart, you thought it was wrong. It's wrong, right? I mean, you obviously like had to second guess, like, oh, well, some parents are different the way they raise their kids and all that. But a grown man taking a shower with a child is definitely wrong.
Dynamics were a little different over, so it was more like
exactly.
Like it personally. It's not something I would approve of personally, but they're
because it was natural. It's natural to them. It's natural to all predators to do that. You know that, right?
Well, not really. I don't know. I mean, just because they're. That's the thing. You don't want to project. You don't want to say, well, somebody's guilty because this isn't something I do.
I'm not saying he's guilty on it. Not saying he's guilty. I'm simply calling him a predator.
Well, he's obviously a predator of some variety. I mean, we know by his own admission to me, he's done that to at least one of his sisters.
At least one of his sisters. I mean, he's admitted that. He admitted that.
Some of his other habits, especially while intoxicated, are like, cringe. He's obviously an abuser, just like he knows Monster is an abuser. They're both like that. Therefore, they're both predators. Both like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So when you refer to monsters, are you referring to some particular person as a predator too?
I'm talking about our particular abuser. I just rather not use their name. But you get what I'm saying? Like, there's all kinds of predators, you know what I'm saying? And I understand he's done that to his sister by his own admission. I understand that, all these things, but that those things are true, but that doesn't, he did something to Summer. It doesn't.
But what's the coincidences of that?
I don't know.
I mean, would you say that it was slim? I mean, if you have someone, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot or nothing like that, but just hear me out here. If you have someone who sexually abuses this one, he sexually abuses his sister, he's done all this other stuff, he's a predator, and his actions speak.
Are you trying to accuse him of doing something to Summer or of being responsible for June 15th and her vanishing?
I just have a problem with the June 15th.
Okay, well, 15th. If
the timeline. I mean, yours fits better than what I've heard. I'll be honest with you. Your timeline does fit better than what I've heard. I've heard 17 different timelines. And that's one thing that threw me plumb off of. I was like, and it's exactly what I said, when the main eyewitnesses, the people, the eyewitnesses, and the suspects are one and the same, there is no leads. That's criminology. That's prison tactics. That's jail tactics. Everybody knows that when you have a suspect and you have a witness, and if they're the same people, there's no leads. It's called a what? Dead end. That's what dead end. That's what this is all set up to be anyways. I think it was premeditated. I think it was planned ahead of time. I think it was all set for everybody not to be there and people be in place. Whether there was a handoff or not, I think there's something. Go ahead. Off or not, I think there's something. Go ahead.
One of my puzzles and theories is that something was done on purpose, and that they expected people to say, like with our monster, people expected him to be on time from work, just like I did, right? But often he wasn't, because he was too busy doing things next door to work. But the thing is they expected him, like I would that day, to be in by 6. So everything's trying to, and then there are other neighbors that come in at certain times, and I think there's a possibility that somebody knew all these things and knew we'd all be kind of outside at certain times of the day or waiting on certain people, and therefore we would be, quote, witnesses. You get what I'm saying? Like almost like a setup.
Right. I understand that. I understand 100% that.
I think that could be a possibility. I think other times, well, that's also the time, if you think about it, if somebody takes Summer, like even a stranger, whatever, if they've been watching her or timing when all of us are coming and going. Of course, most people get home or around home anywhere between like 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening, because down there it takes you a little bit. Everybody knows it's going to take you a little bit to get there from whatever job you're working, Eastman, Hardee's, Walmart, doesn't matter, right? So you put most people getting home in Beach Creek around a certain time in the evening, working, Eastman, Hardee's, Walmart, doesn't matter, right? So you put most people getting home in Beach Creek around a certain time in the evening. And therefore, if you're going to kidnap or harm a little, you're going to have to do it within a certain amount of time. So they're trying to be in and out of everybody at the same time too. So it could just be a coincidence, right? That and a predator watching and waiting to take her.
But that's usually not how. But that's usually not how predators work. Predators work on instinct. They're like sharks. They're like sharks with blood in the water when it's first instinct. They go off on their own mind. They go off on their own mind. They don't sit and wait, because most predators are afraid to get caught. And here's the fact. Predators work on instinct. They're like sharks. They're like sharks with blood in the water when it's first instinct. They go off on their own mind. They go off on their own mind. They don't sit and wait, because most predators are afraid to get caught. And here's the fact of the matter is, a predator don't just sit and wait. They'll sit and wait in disguise, but there's no way to disguise yourself on that hill. Anybody would see somebody waiting. So I say it was a planned attack. It was planned. It was planned that she was taken. That's my version of it. I mean, anybody else have any version? A predator just went in the area and sit it there on that hill and watch for 2 or 3 hours, kids play or whatever the hell, and wait for a moment to go, because they'd have to know. First off, they'd have to know the terrain. They'd have to know the time schedules of everything. Everybody has the clock, Jody. If you get up at 9 o'clock in the morning, hold on 1 second. If you get up at 9 o'clock in the morning every day, and you have to have coffee, then you have to have coffee at 9 o'clock in the morning. Everybody has what we call a repetitious timeline. Everybody has it. That's how a lot of people get caught.
No, they really don't. But here's the thing, Ernie. There's all kinds and varieties of predators, okay? But on top of that, you're discounting the fact that
tell me about that, the variety. I've never heard. Okay, so variety. Tell me about that. I want to learn more about that. Please tell me, please.
There's all kinds of different predators that do all kinds of things for different reasons, and they all stalk and hunt in different ways. And some just do go off the spur of the moment type of shit, right? They see an opportunity. They're opportunists, more like scavengers than hunters, and others actually do hunt and prey. And they come up with plans, and that's part of what they get off on, is the planning and the plotting and the watching and all of that, unseen, unknown, whatever. But here's the thing, Ernie. You're just counting the fact that there are dozens and dozens of people, coming and going for this property sale that are out of state. You also have
Hold on, wait. I was counting on the fact that you would do just like you just did. You just explained to me every single type of predator about it there was. Now, my question to you is, who taught you that? How did you know?
Well, Ernie, I'm pretty well educated.
But where'd you learn that at? Where'd you learn that at?
What do you mean? Where did I learn?
Where did you learn that at? That ain't taught in education purposes. That ain't taught like that. That preterism is not even taught. That class you pretty much just taught me a class just now, but where did you learn that at? How did you know that there were certain types of this that get off on these certain plannings of this? You see, only experience of someone of that nature could even say that back to me and reply it that way.
I've been a victim of predators, Ernie, and because I've been around enough in my lifetime, I just spent 3 decades almost with one that is so monstrous you all can't believe it. Now we're turning around and trying to use it to further abuse me and my children. in Tragedy Pentville, and the mask is good, the cornbread's good, and it's not fun for us because you all have no idea how bad that was. I've lived, I've been around all kinds, Ernie, of monsters and predators. But on top of that, from the time I was very little, I've studied psychology for funsies, and I have educated myself beyond what school building.
So you educate yourself through experience and through endurance. Now, here's the thing though. Jodisue. When you were second guessing yourself on this, Dawn in the shower with Summer and all that, when you was thinking like, it's wrong.
It's not something I would do. But I mean, there's a lot honestly in the area that are very base, more hill-like, and they wouldn't think a second thing about it, right?
No, anybody. No, I mean, I've never seen that, and I lived in the hills. I've never seen, like a grown adult take a bath with a, what was she, 5, 6 at the time, 6, 5-year-old, 6.
Candy, you can straight kiss my whole ass about this, but I stayed and put my kids in danger, right, bitch, shit, okay?
So
Hope it's
nobody.
serious.
I mean, no, nobody's trying to defame you or nothing on here. Nobody is. I don't think no natural person, I mean, would see that way.
Do you think that's right for somebody that's survived, for the kids who have survived, who actually made it out fucking alive and didn't end up a potato? Do you think somebody like Cotton Candy's cool doing that to people who are survivors and fighters?
Don't read chat. The chat's going to say whatever the hell. You know that. You've been a part of this long enough. You know how chat does. Chat's going to be for you or against you.
But I mean, bullshit comments are fine, but the ones that, terrorize the shit out of survivors are not okay, especially in a community where they say they care about people like fucking Petito and Collier and that. I mean, you can't